This is a tutorial video for the Brimness cabinet from IKEA. There are a few errors in here that I want to point out, so I hope you find this video helpful. What I like to do is look at my pieces that it comes with and make sure that I have everything. So these are the first two pieces that you'll be working with. They have a lot of holes on it. And then I like to take the bag of the hardware and kind of separate it all out so it's easy to grab. Your tools, just 3 that you'll need. Here are more pieces of wood, 2 doors, 2 shelves, 2 smaller pieces, the particle board, and let's get started. So you'll want to have your boards positioned so that these are right here next to each other. Then the first step is you're going to open a bag that has this piece in it. You will want to keep this white piece, so don't throw that out. And these are going to go up in the top corner of these boards, one on the left side and then one on the right. And then it's showing you the screw that you need. So I want to show you that compared to the other small screw. The ones that you'll need for this first step are the short and fat little ones. There are only 4 to begin with, and you'll use all 4 within the first step. So when you're doing this, you're going to want the big hole to be facing the outside, and then you're going to put those small screws into these outside holes. All right, the first error that I encountered in these directions are for step number 2. So you'll be using these with the other smaller screws, and you'll be putting those in 4 different times. Now, the directions here, they'll show you, zooming in on this right-hand picture, that this is in this direction, with that protruding screw being on the right side, which is correct. But if you look closely at this, it shows it going the same direction. It's actually going to be flipped. So let me explain that again. On the left-hand side for this piece, the screw needs to be on the left side. On the right side piece, the screw needs to be on the right side. Same with at the top. Okay, for step number 3, you are going to need 6 of these, and you are going to put them in the smaller of the holes here on both sides. So the one closer to the outside of the board, and then the other 2 are going to be in these smaller holes here in this little like circle thing. Okay, for this next step, it is very important. This is wrong, okay? So the board that we're flipping up, this is an unfinished side because you can see that it has that circular thing that we put there at the top, and this side is unfinished. Okay, now this one looks smooth, and to reiterate it, they're showing you, in my opinion, that it looks smooth. You do not want this. I have put this together 5 other times, doing it wrong twice. There was a length of time in between putting these together, and I got as far as nailing like 50 of the nails here to the back and having to peel all of them up because this board was in the incorrect spot. It needs to be flipped, and I'll show you how we're going to do that here in a second. We're going to want the raw side facing up because this is going to be the back of the shelf. We do not want the finished side facing backwards. We want that facing the front. So we're looking for this piece that has 6 holes on one side. This side is finished. This side is unfinished. And that's the orientation I'm going to hold this as I put these sticks in. And then what I'm doing is I'm putting 4 of the sticks in. If you look over on the left side, they're going to be the inner 2 holes, and then same with this side, inner 2 holes. So what I'm going to do is turn this up, having the raw edge on the top, and then I'm flipping this one up. You are going to be putting these wooden pegs into these holes, as well as lining up the metal ones. So it should look like that. For the next step, I am grabbing 2 of these white pieces. I'm using a flathead to tighten those. You're gonna turn it to the right. So you're gonna put one here, one here, and one there. So for step 6, you are taking the smaller of the two boards that look like this, and you are gonna put 2 pegs into it, which will go into here, and then 2 pegs on the opposite end. And this is the same on both sides, so it really doesn't matter which way you put it in. Actually, there is a little bit of tape here, so I'm gonna have that tape that you can tell is connecting facing down. Then for the next step, you're gonna go back down to the bottom with this wider one, and we're gonna put 2 pegs into that one as well, one on each side, and it will be the lower hole on each one. So when you're looking at it, you see that there are holes here at the top. There's going to be a hole right next to that hole on the side, but you want it to be the lower one. And then you will insert the wooden peg with these facing up into this. Then for the next step, you're gonna go ahead and take one of these and tighten it up. So next we will be putting the other side. So I'm gonna flip it up so that both of these circle pieces are here at the top. And then you'll have to be very precise with this, as all those pieces have either wooden dowels or metal dowels sticking out. They're all gonna come together into their own hole, and then it will all stick together. So from this angle, these two will be going in here. So if you have a separate set of hands, this is a good time to use them, because all these pieces need to align at the same time. So this one has to go in here. Looks like these are good. My bottom ones are good. So sometimes it helps to kind of push them together. And then you're going to use 3 of these for step number 10. And they are going to be here, here, and then one at the bottom. Next, you'll find this top piece. It has all of these holes. You'll want those holes facing up. And then this is the raw edge. That's gonna be at the top as I'm doing this. I will be using 4 of these in the smaller holes in the 4 corners. So those are the bottom on the bottom and the top on the top. Next, for the remaining holes on this piece, in the corners, you'll be putting the wooden dowels. Next, we're doing step 12, which we put those in, but now we're going to put it on the top here. You're gonna line those up and make sure that the raw side is facing up. For step 13, you'll be using 4 more of these, and you'll be doing them here, here, and then the same on the other side. So as you're looking at it, all of the raw ends should be facing up. Then you're gonna grab the particle board, which has holes here at the top. You're going to open it. Sorry if I sound out of breath. I am 30 weeks pregnant. You're gonna open it like this. One side is white. You'll want that facing down because that's the backing of the shelf. So the next thing we're gonna do is we are going to put nails all around the perimeter. It gives you this little device, which I'll show you in a second, and you'll wanna do a few in the corners first and then kind of spread your nails out so that they are all secure. So there's this little contraption, which I love. It has a little spot for a nail, and this ledge here sits on the edge, and you put a nail inside of it, squeeze it, and then use your hammer. Which will make them all the same distance from the edge all the way around. Next step is taking these, putting them in the bottom. So here is our bookshelf upright. I am double checking that these all look good with the screw towards the back. Looks good. Okay. Next step is adhering it to the wall, which I'm not going to do yet because I'm not exactly sure where I'm putting it. But what it's essentially saying is that you're going to put an X on the wall where this hole is, because that's an opening. That is step 18. Then you're going to take big bolts, which I don't know come with it or not, because I believe these have to do with the handles. Okay. Then it's telling you to take these brackets and put that into that. And then that's why you're saving these caps, because then you can cover it up once you're done adhering it to the wall. But like I said, I'm skipping that step. I also will be skipping the step having to do with the handles because I ordered different ones. But these are perfectly fine. I have them in a playroom downstairs, and I'm putting the same hardware that I have in my kitchen for the ones I'm putting in my kitchen to kind of extend the storage there. So I'm setting these all off to the side. So the next step is the doors. There are 2 doors and there are 4 of these hinges. You are going to put the hinge onto this like so, and then use 2 of these screws to put it in. And you'll do it here at the top and then again on the other door. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of the doors and we're going to slide those hinges onto the part that's already on the inside of the cabinet. So you will slide it over so it's kind of attached, even though it doesn't feel that way. And you are going to take this screw in the back and tighten it. And the same goes for the top. Okay, the moment of truth is when you shut it. How much space is in the middle? Quite a bit. If you flip the pages a few, it will tell you which screws to loosen to do what. Now, as far as height, I feel like this one can come up a smidge, but I'm gonna worry about closing the gap here in the middle first. So to close the gap in the middle, I will be adjusting the front screw, which will be this one. You'll notice that turning it left does one thing and right does another. So we want it to come closer. So I believe I'm gonna turn it towards me, which you're gonna watch this hinge kind of come closer to me. And I'm gonna do the same at the top. And I'll do it the same on the other side. Okay, still quite a bit of space, so I'm just gonna keep doing this until it gets closer. I'd say that's pretty good, and when doing that, I feel like this came together, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop. Okay, so we put the doors on. Next step is to put on the handles, which again, I am skipping, but it's fairly easy. You just put the screw in from the back and then tighten it. There, it shows you a little bit more about that. This part is very simple as well. So this cabinet comes in black and white, which is why they're giving you both of these. But basically, there are 2 holes here at the bottom. If you have the white shelf, put the white caps in. And if you have the black shelf, put the black caps in. Moving right along. So the next thing is you have all of these pieces. You'll want to measure exactly how far apart you want these. I'm doing this in my kitchen, so I'm gonna make the bottom one fairly wide because I'm gonna put things like crock pots and instant pots in the bottom and then miscellaneous kitchen items here at the top. So you will want to put the skinny side in first. 24. If it's hard to get in, you could use a hammer, but not too hard. Then you will grab a shelf, which you'll notice have little grooves on the bottom. Keep that on the bottom and keep the finished side facing out. And lift it above the pegs and drop down. For the last shelf, this is where I'm gonna put it. I do not put this one in right away because these hinges are in the way and I have a hard time dropping the shelf in. So I will drop the shelf in and then put in the last peg. There we go. Okay, so we've done that. Drop the shelves in. Now you'll want to line up where these hit the doors. So what I like to do is I like to put it not on the door, but on the shelf in case I move the shelves around. So I will close it and see where it lines up. So like at the top, I'll do one here, then I'll come down the line. And this is the final product. I have 3 in a row, but trying to figure out how to center it with this silly window here, but I hope this video was helpful.